Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. It is Friday, January 17th, 2014, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Thanks for tuning in. Well, an extraordinary crisis is needed in order to preserve the New World Order. That's according to the shock and awe doctrine author, Harlan K. Ullman. He writes in an article entitled, "War on Terror is not the only threat." He asserts that it's not military superpowers like China, but non-state actors like Edward Snowden, Bradley Manning, and anonymous hackers who pose the biggest threat to the elite because they are encouraging individuals to become self-empowered. Ullman goes on to say, without an extraordinary crisis, little is likely to be done to reverse or limit the damage imposed by failed or failing governance, implying that only another 9/11-style cataclysm will enable the state to reassert its dominance while containing, reducing, and eliminating the dangers posed by newly empowered non-state actors. So that's what the technocrats are so afraid of. Free thinkers, individual thinkers. We're the wild card. They don't know what to do with us. So they're going to have to create another 9/11-style crisis in order to entrap the minds of the masses once again, much like they did, a decade or so ago. But it might be a little harder for them this time because now they've got the NSA. And if the NSA fails once again to thwart a crisis, then we're all just going to say, why are they surveilling our every single move? Let's do away with these guys. And indeed, we already know that the NSA hasn't stopped a single terror attack, so they are not likely to stop this manufactured crisis that Ullman is suggesting. But they're not going to do away with their little baby NSA data center, their beloved spy center, because then how would the elites be able to surveil and control your every move? Now, there is no doubt that Edward Snowden is enemy number one among the intelligence community. In fact, a Pentagon official told a BuzzFeed reporter that American spies would like to see Edward Snowden dead. One told the reporter that, "I'd love to put a bullet in his head." And then another Army intelligence officer got into a detailed fantasy about casually poking Edward Snowden with a little prick, just casually walking by from the grocery store, and Edward Snowden wouldn't think anything about it until he was dead later in the shower. Now, the degree to which Snowden's revelations have damaged intelligence operations, those are being debated. But people inside the intelligence community are saying that terrorists have changed their methods because of the leaks. But the statement that I found most interesting, a DoD official said, "By showing who our collections partners were, the terrorists have dropped those carriers and email addresses." Collections partners? I'm sorry, I thought that none of those telecom companies were in collusion with the NSA. I thought that the back door was something that was a total surprise to Google and the like. Yeah, right. We knew that was a lie from the start. But here, this guy pretty much admits that they are collection partners. So, of course, all of this volatility is coming at a time when Obama is really under fire to do something about the NSA. And according to his hour-long speech, don't worry, little spy agency guys. Your beloved puppet is not going to do anything to your spy agency, to your little program. In fact, he's not going to change much at all. Basically, his speech was all about placating the public. The phone metadata will still exist. He says that it will be stored, at least in the short term, until Congress figures out what to do with that data. The data is going to be searched. Searches will still be approved by the secret FISA court. And Obama said that he didn't want to have a privacy advocate that was suggested by an independent group. Also, the national security letters can still be issued by the FBI without a court order, and much of the NSA's activity will remain secret. So what did the president change? Well, he says that he calls for the data to be housed somewhere other than within the government. Of course, Congress has to find a place within 60 days. And secondly, he said that before the NSA can search the calling record database, they have to get judicial approval. So basically, what is he wanting to do with this data? He's wanting to give control of the storage to a private entity, much like Booz Allen, which was how Edward Snowden was able to breach the servers in the first place. Rand Paul laughed at that idea. That's not much of a fix. And then also the FISA courts, they're needing to get judicial approval. They've already proven that they just rubber stamp whatever the NSA wants to do. The Wall Street Journal reported last year that the FISA court rejected less than 1% of requests. So this is all just a big joke to placate the public and say, calm down, guys, it's okay, we're spying on you. We don't need to do away with the NSA. And of course, if the public does get their way and they do away with the NSA, they've got a big crisis, a 9/11 style crisis plan to say, see guys, you should have let us keep spying on you and then this terror attack never would have happened. I mean, we can see the writing on the wall, but Obama wants us to just be okay with it because these agents are just like our neighbors and they're the ones that are spying on us. They're our friends, they're our agents. But how does Obama know how good these guys are? He doesn't know much of anything. In fact, his aide said that he didn't even know the extent of the NSA surveillance program. Obama claims ignorance for so many things, repeatedly on scandals. He had ignorance of the IRS targeting political conservative groups. He was ignorant of the Department of Justice targeting of journalists. Obama said he knew nothing about the scandal surrounding then CIA Director David Petraeus. Jay Carney denied in June 2012 that Obama knew anything about the Fast and Furious scandal, saying that the president didn't know about this tactic until he heard about it through the media. And Obama has said that many times, that he's found out stuff through the media, but when was that? Before or after he was spying on the AP phone? This guy is ridiculous, and that's what his whole entire administration does. Just, we didn't know, I don't know, I don't know. I know we have that clip of Holder saying that like 60 times at his hearing, but you know what else I'm sure Obama doesn't know anything about? The 200 million text messages per day that the NSA has been collecting around the globe. Now, they have been exploiting these text messages. Basically, they're storing everything they can, and the text messages are getting people's travel plans, their contact books, financial transactions, and more. This is all revealed, of course, by more material that was provided by NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden. Now, there is a presentation entitled SMS Text Messages, a Gold Mine to Exploit. And then another program uses automated text messages like missed call alerts or text to let you know when you're internationally roaming to contact chain. So basically they know who your social networks are from who you contact and when. They know if you're crossing the border from network roaming alerts. They get names as well as images from electronic business cards. They can get your financial transactions through text-to-text payments or linking credit cards to the phone. They get geolocation data by checking any text messages where a request for people for route info, or if you're setting up a meeting via text messages. This is all the things that they are collecting. Now, communications from U.S. phone numbers were minimized, but the database of other countries were retained. But who needs that pesky Constitution? It's outdated, and that's exactly why they want to do away with the Constitution. But here is the kicker. This is why they hold on to all that data, and we have been telling you this. It says this makes it particularly useful for the development of new targets, since it is possible to examine the content of messages sent months or even years before the target was known to be of interest. See, we've been telling you, that's why they want to hold all of your data, the metadata, this useless metadata in the NSA data center for hundreds of years, because at some point in time, we're all going to be terrorists. We're all going to be targeted. They want to hold on and collect and store all of our data so that they can control our every move, because we're all terrorists. Because if we become individual thinkers, then we could potentially destroy their plans for the New World Order. And that's what we're trying to tell you. Wake up, get off the phones, disconnect, and we might just have a shot at taking these guys down, because they are already writing these big articles to their political think tanks about the big problem with people waking up and thinking for themselves. But never fear, free thinkers. Google's got the answer for those of you who think you're going to creep outside of their grabby little reach. They're new smart contact lenses, and this is just the beginning. These lenses have biosensors to track blood glucose levels for diabetics. It's good for us, y'all. It'll help so that the diabetics won't have to do that pesky, painful finger prick test every day. The lens has chips and sensors so small that they look like bits of glitter, and an antenna that's thinner than a human hair. So imagine a time in the future, imagine how much they can do with these apps when they can put computer sensors directly into your eye. It is beginning, and if there was a time to wake up now more than ever, this is it. Now stick around, because coming up, David Knight's got a very special report about how they are propagandizing your school children.
My friends, Alex Jones here to tell you about some of the most important information concerning you and your family's health. Radiation levels have more than doubled in the last 60 years in the Northern Hemisphere from all of the nuclear testing and radiological accidents. Radioactive contamination is now in most of the food supply. There's only 2 ways to avoid this. Move south of the equator or properly protect your thyroid with nascent iodine. Looking to protect my family, I've done deep research. Nascent iodine is the purest, cleanest, absolute best form of iodine to protect yourself and your family. It's made right here in the USA, completely non-GMO. I searched out the best quality and now have developed a double-strength form of nascent iodine, exclusively available at InfowarsLife.com. Nascent iodine is on record as one of the only safe ways to detox from fluoride poisoning. Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Secure your super high-quality nascent iodine today at InfowarsLife.com. That's InfowarsLife.com.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. And the Infowars army is standing strong. Wake up your family, friends, and neighbors and break the matrix at InfowarsStore.com. Learn the truth and spread the message of liberty with the world's most comprehensive collection of books and documentary films. Maintain a healthy metabolism and energize your body to perform at peak health with Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Protect your family and be prepared with survival foods and emergency preparedness kits. And now you can drink safe water with your own ProPure water filtration system, which removes fluoride and other harmful chemicals from your family's water supply. Save 10% with the promo code WATER. So join the revolution. InfowarsStore.com.
Well, in some very disturbing news that only underscores the degeneracy that has infiltrated the ranks of our police force. Michael Shane Abo was a reserve police officer and former sheriff's deputy. He beat his girlfriend's 4-year-old son nearly to death and put him in critical condition. On New Year's Eve, the 4-year-old had to be medevaced to a nearby hospital after sustaining a severe brain injury, internal tearing of his bowel and intestine, and 7 fractured ribs. Now, Abo told police the boy had fallen down a flight of stairs, but of course those injuries were inconsistent with blunt force trauma. Now, Abo had reportedly been using steroids, which are known to cause uncontrollable bouts of rage. That's a disgusting story. It's so sad. The hospital workers noticed that the boy had most likely been injured on 2 separate occasions very severely. The mom said she didn't know about it because Abo never let her bathe or dress her son, which was a pretty bizarre turn in that story. But I didn't really tell this story to just say, oh, look, another day, another police going crazy, because I know that we have a lot of police that view our show and that support what we do here at Infowars. And I just want to say to you all, we need you to not only protect us from the bad guys in society, but we need you to protect us from the bad guys that have infiltrated your ranks. There are definitely some bad guys hiding behind a badge, and we need you to not be so conditioned, this conditioning that you guys are going through that's dehumanizing you. Please Be strong. Don't allow your conditioning to dehumanize you, and don't allow your conditioning to make you so loyal to the badge that you will allow these criminals to get away with murder and all other sorts of activity. They're hiding behind their badge, and they need to be called out, and we need you guys. We're going to need you guys. All of us need you, so please watch out for your conditioning. And that's what this story is all about, to make sure you keep those criminals in check. And it's not just this conditioning that's happening in law enforcement and the military and other places that are trying to train people to be obedient to the state. It's also happening in schools. Children are being taught in Common Core socialist propaganda. It's basically North Korean style of teaching, where children are being taught at a very young age that they belong to the state and that they want to silence any dissent. Take a look at this North Korean propaganda film. It's on YouTube. It's got nearly 1 million views. And basically, they're teaching students how to kill Americans with geometry. And it's basically about a boy who goofs off instead of studying. And his friend says, hey, I noticed that you were drawing pictures of Americans instead of listening to the teacher. And the boy's like, oh, what are you so worried about? It's easy homework. It's just about degrees. All of them are printed right there on the compass. Then later, the boy falls asleep. He dreams of being at war with U.S. battleships. His pencils turn into rockets, and his compass becomes a big gun. And now he has to figure out how to actually use his protractor as it's intended. He has to align the rockets properly to hit invading U.S. ships. See? Math is fun, y'all, so don't neglect your studies, because one day you may need to kill Americans. And our education system is no different here. Some of the older viewers, you might remember the war propaganda during World War II. It's the same thing. It's all this North Korean education system. Kids belong to the state, silence any dissent. They want you to just be smart enough to push buttons and dumb enough to take it for 65 years until you are sick enough to lay in your bed all day, where they won't give you any Medicare to take care of you at that point. Now, one of these such people is Bill Ayers. Now, you may remember him. He was part of the Weather Underground. They had a really violent bombing campaign. Well, he was here in Austin yesterday promoting his new book, but he has found a way to destroy society even further. He is using the federal school system to propagandize your children, and David Knight approached him about it.
A gentleman named William Ayers, Stephanopoulos began. He was part of the Weather Underground in the 70s. They bombed the Pentagon, and he's never apologized for that.
A bomb exploded early this morning in the Pentagon, and left-wing terrorists telephoned newspapers to say they were responsible.
At midday, the Associated Press got a phone call from a man saying he was with the Weather Underground and that bombs would explode at the Departments of Interior and Agriculture and the Smithsonian before the day was out.
People calling themselves members of the Weather Underground last night planted bombs in federal office buildings in Washington and Oakland, California.
A student turned to me and said, oh my God, that guy has the same name as yours. This cartoon character named Bill Ayers, who looked exactly like me and shared my name and address, was about to become a punching bag in a presidential campaign. And the Weather Underground, suspended in amber for all these years, was reborn out of the blue, not only active and breathing fire, but all of a sudden more menacing and dangerous.
I ask, well, what is going to happen to those people that we can't re-educate, that are die-hard capitalists? And the reply was that they'd have to be eliminated. And when I pursued this further, they estimated that they would have to eliminate 25 million people in these re-education centers. And when I say eliminate, I mean kill.
Ayers quit his bombing campaign and worked with the educational elite to figure out the logistics for the re-education of society using centralized control of education.
What are you proposing for public education then?
I think we need to fund public education generously. I think we should close the Pentagon and fund public education. Yes.
He portrays himself as an anarchist and a dissenter, but he wants to force government into every aspect of our lives that he thinks is important. especially our children's education.
Don't you think the government controlling the schools is
I'm
really...
an anarchist when it comes to government.
We'd agree that both Bush and Obama are war criminals, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And that the government is manufacturing consent for that and shutting down dissent.
And I could just be, out of society. That actually isn't an option.
Well, it's not really a privilege. I know a lot of people who are very forward to do it. It's a priority. It's a priority. It's not a privilege. It's people who care enough about it that they will do the hardship to do it.
Ayers accuses homeschoolers of privilege, yet Daddy knew a judge that got Bernadine out of jail. His dad, who sat on the board of General Dynamics, Zenith, Sears, and many other giant corporations.
Michael Kennedy came up with this brilliant idea, which is we'll get every lawyer to write an affidavit. So they can say whatever they want, but they can say, I've spoken with her and there is no way she will ever testify. My favorite came from an establishment lawyer from Chicago who was a friend of my dad's who came to St. Bernardine kind of whimsically, and he wrote an affidavit, and so we got her out.
Ayers is an elitist who pretends to be on the side of the poor, a statist who pretends to be an anarchist.
Well, stick around after the break because Alex Jones has some very heated words about our spy-riddled surveillance society. You're definitely going to want to check that out. Thank you so much for tuning into the news tonight. We'll see you here again weekdays at 7 p.m. Central.
Symbols are powerful, and the globalists have hijacked the symbols of America. They've turned them into their own symbols. Well, we are restoring the idea of the true republic, not the counterfeit globalist empire, by promoting the icon George Washington and others. That's why we're rolling out an 100% made in America line of incredible pro-liberty apparel. We are repopularizing liberty. We are helping fellow Americans rediscover what made this country great. We are the spirit of 1776. We are 1776 worldwide. We are all brothers and sisters in arms in the animating contest of liberty in the long march towards humanity's ultimate destiny of freedom. Visit madein1776.com today and vote with your dollars to promote truly made in America, high-quality products, and promote the ideals of liberty. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfowarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our Immune Support Infusion Blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfowarsLife.com.
Now, the reforms I'm proposing today should give the American people greater confidence that their rights are being protected, even as our intelligence and law enforcement agencies maintain the tools they need to keep us safe. The bottom line is that people around the world, regardless of their nationality, should know that the United States is not spying on ordinary people who don't threaten our national security.
President Obama came out today and said, relax. Paul Revere would love the NSA. The NSA spying on you and your family are like your neighbors in your local community. They want to help you. Ladies and gentlemen, we knew 15 years ago exactly what the National Security Agency and 14 other illegal agencies were doing, grabbing all the digital data and putting it through major hubs to sift through the information, not to look for terrorists. They keep saying, oh, if we had the NSA in place, 9/11 wouldn't have happened. Sibel Edmonds has gone public, and other whistleblowers who were there on the days before 9/11, tracking the CIA and others, protecting al-Qaeda, protecting the hijackers. The FBI lived with some of them. They were just patsy cutouts like Lee Harvey Oswald and Tim McVeigh. But shifting out of that, Obama's saying we don't spy on citizens and we don't spy on foreign leaders. It's on record they spy on Merkel, the head of Germany, and others. It's on record that Congress is being spied on. It's on record that hundreds of major corporations that are part of this are feeding their data, from Microsoft to Google to Apple, into the NSA grids. Under Obamacare, your health care is filed through PRISM into the NSA. So this is all in the fine print. This is not a mystery. But the general public, who was told for decades the government's not watching you because it's illegal, that's a conspiracy theory. Even as whistleblowers like Wayne Madsen from the NSA went public in the mid-90s, they would deny that it was happening. So the big revelation is that they lied to us. They are surveilling us. They're using it to target the press, from AP to Fox News. They're using it to spy on the troops. Members of the NSA are using it on record to spy on their wives and girlfriends and husbands. This is insane. Of course this unconstitutional power is being abused. That's why it's always been illegal in any free society. And so why did Obama get up there and give this hour-long speech today? Because he's desperate. He doesn't want to go to jail. He's been part of expanding illegal NSA wiretapping and mass searches of internet data. Private data. They've been part of the Homeland Security rollout, putting up these police poles that have wireless hubs that grab all of your cell phone info illegally. They have been part of this takeover, along with the Republican leadership and the Democratic leadership in the Congress. The courts have been complicit to a great extent. And so now they need to mainline it and say, okay, we're spying on you, but I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make sure that it's done properly. This is the guy that betrayed us on Obamacare. This is the guy caught lying more than any other president before.
You like your doctor, you like your plan, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan.
You like your current insurance, you keep that insurance. Period.
They are just conditioning us in a process to accept total surveillance. And they're telling us that total surveillance beyond 1984 is as American as apple pie. Just a year ago, Clapper.
Does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
The NSA specifically targets the communications of everyone. It ingests them by default.
They are liars. They are lying to you like you're a foreign military enemy, because America has been hijacked by a corporate offshore takeover that is putting spy hubs into everything, from your refrigerator to your computer to your so-called smartphone. This is the nature of the new web that's being built. It's based on you being surveilled. It's based on you having no privacy. And they think you're stupid, and they're there telling you, we don't spy on you without warrants. Oh, we got caught. Well, we don't dragnet all the info. Oh, we got caught. We don't use it politically. Oh, we got caught. We don't use it to persecute people. Oops, we do. And now Obama's trying to reset, coming back going, listen, Paul Revere would love this. The NSA's like your good neighbor. This is to keep you safe. We want to stop a new 9/11. So they can stage another terror attack or allow terrorists to attack us, the same ones they're funding in Syria, and say, see, we told you so. You reined in the NSA and this happened. When they'll never even rein it in to begin with. Its main mission is getting key data to be able to leverage out their competition in the marketplace. It's so insiders can game our entire world system like a corrupt casino or like a lottery. That's what's happening. So that's the secret of this. Obama and his other cohorts lied about this existing. Now because of Snowden and others, it's come out, and they're engaged in damage control. But this is a two-edged sword. If they don't get brought to justice now, if they don't start getting in trouble now, and Congress just says we're going to give Obama dictatorial power on Obamacare and borders and NSA to do whatever he wants, they've actually then used this crisis of their corruption as a way to get even more power. It's like Bush screwed up Katrina on purpose, so FEMA got double the funding. It's the same thing every time. They screw it up and then get more power out of it. They're not screwing it up. This is all a plan, all a program. They call it a technocracy. So that's why Obama came out, to just mainline all of it out in the open and then to make himself the savior. Because the truth is, Obama was part of the group that really did build the greatest illegal spy grid the world has ever seen. And they're trying to now tell you that he didn't build it, and the government didn't build it, and Congress didn't build it. They're all pointing fingers at each other, saying they did it, they did it. The corporations, Google and Microsoft, are saying the government did it. And cybersecurity is saying the corporations did it. The truth is they all did it together in a giant power grab, designing the global architecture of the internet to be a predatory surveillance system where the insiders can game the rest of the world system and consolidate power in a monopolistic program. This is criminal authoritarianism. The sleeping giant that is for humanity is awakening, and Obama and his minions and his supporters need to understand that when the history books are finally written, they will be known as the tyrants they indeed are, because we the people are awakening. And remember, if you're watching this transmission, you are the resistance. Remember that one of the top national security advisors came out in the Atlantic Council and called for a giant crisis so that the public would submit to their takeover, and admitted that they are falling apart, that they are imploding right now, and that the free individual and highly motivated, empowered individuals are the enemy of this corporate group, not the communist Chinese, not other thug regimes. They know how to deal with people like themselves. They don't know how to deal with moral people who are not going to be slaves. I'm Alex Jones signing off for Infowars Nightly News.
Now you can watch The Alex Jones Show live as it happens at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
More than 60 movies and documentaries all in one place at Infowars.com/show.